if you'd like. I'm going to kind of give my commentary on Season 3, Episode 9. It is a live watch of Season 3, Episode 9. If you can guess, yep, that's right. It's a deep fried Thanksgiving. My name is Valerie. I worked on Gilmore Girls. I share a lot of fun facts from behind the scenes. I am not live on anything but this right now, and I probably will not be taking any chat. We're going to shut off the chat. None. Hide all the chat messages. So if you're here, welcome. I'm going to cue this episode up. We're going to watch it, and then I'm going to watch it muted. So if you're watching along at home, I'll let you know when to start it up. So get your computer, your TV, your DVDs, whatever you want to do, and watch along. I'll try not to stop and start, but you know how well that goes for me. So my name is Valerie. I worked on Gilmore Girls. I share a lot of fun facts on TikTok. I started sharing some stuff on Facebook. I get paid on Facebook. I get paid on TikTok. I don't really get paid much on Instagram. So if you do see a video there, go, oh, maybe I should watch you on TikTok or Facebook. And also, of course, watch here over on YouTube because I'm trying to get more watch hours. So that's why we're going to do this real quick. And we're going to try not to pause it, and we might have to start from the beginning. So on your mark, get set. Oh, okay. So we're starting the episode. It's starting right now. They're watching the TV, and they're watching Edie from Little Edie. Oh my God, that is the craziest movie. If you haven't seen that movie, you should watch it. It's all about that Kennedy family and how crazy their life is. When we shoot things with televisions, we have a video playback going on. There's a guy in sound department. He is queuing it up. They have to set it to a certain frame per whatever frame rate so that the television cameras that we're shooting at the television will pick it up. Otherwise, it'll be disjointed. What else can I tell you about this scene? There's some Pop-Tarts on the plate. Obviously, they're not going to eat anything. If they do take a bite, it's very minimal, very tiny, tiny bites. Behind Lauren and Alexis is a picture right in front of the monkey lamp, and that's a picture. Oh, we're at the credits. We're at the title credits. Behind them is a picture of Lauren when she was a little kid. Okay. What's fun about the title credits is they kind of keep them, a lot of them, throughout a majority of the show. It's kind of crazy how many from that first season remain in the title credits for the entire time. And a lot of these I didn't even work on because I didn't start working on the show until episode 11. But yeah, it's weird seeing Jared with a necklace, isn't it? But he always did. He always wore a little necklace. And we've got Caddy Bishop and Ed. I've talked about why he has a special appearance, but you'll have to wait for that for an actual a video that I've done. And then, of course, the shot of them in Unionville. Okay, we're opening it up on the Independence Inn. That was filmed out in Woodland Hills. The exterior, obviously, the interior of the inn was filmed on stage 14. And they are whipping up. We have an entire department that deals with food. And on this particular episode, April Falzone was the person. She started around the same time that I started and continued on all the way through A Year in the Life. John Aniston, that's Jennifer Aniston's dad. I remember when he was on set. I guess, I don't think that they get along. I don't know. I feel like it was like, don't ask. Even though they were like, Jennifer was on Friends stage, which wasn't that far from us, but obviously, we got Ted Rooney in this episode. Janet Leahy. Sheila. Sheila goes to Fan Fest all the time. Now, I'm not watching the dialogue, although I should. I should put the captions on so I could see what they're saying. I'm kind of just looking at what's going on. And, oh, this one's written by Dan Palladino. This is high up there for one of my favorite episodes, just because of the zaniness, the zany things that are going on. Obviously, we're at the Independence Inn, so Suki's style has not quite evolved yet. She's mostly in like solid colors. She does have that little bit of flair with the button detail, which are like little daisies. And all of her smocks were custom made for her. Oh, Emily's in the kitchen. I bet Lauren's gonna freak out when she sees her. It's been a while. Joseph's. Oh, there you go. I knew that was gonna happen, right? Um, let's see. What other fun little things? Whenever there's like cork boards and stuff, all the stuff that's on those boards are like set dressing just randomly puts stuff up on there. There's nothing really important. Sometimes it's random stuff. Sometimes it's like little Easter eggs with the crew. Also, like the cans on the shelves, they're supposed to kind of obscure the cans so you can't quite see exactly what it is, but I could kind of see what products those were. A lot of times they have to like move them, or they're not straight front, because otherwise those products could not be advertised at a regular grocery store. Not, sorry, the commercials, they couldn't use those commercials to advertise if you had a competing product. So that's why they kind of always kind of try to tilt them to the side. And if they don't, it means that they maybe got that product for free to use on camera, which is why it was cleared and they were able to use it. But I don't know, feels like they weren't supposed to. Okay. Now she's getting invited to Thanksgiving. We're watching the Thanksgiving episode. And periodically I'll let you know where we're at with time code. We're at 5 minutes and 5 seconds. And I'm not going to pause anything because I got to get to bed. I shouldn't be making this, but I realize I need more watch hours over on YouTube, and making these long form ones will help, I think. Guys, if you can, please make sure to put my playlist on so you can watch as many as you can so we can get those watch hours up. Okay. We are now in the classroom. Oh, we're in a science classroom. Okay. The cell. Rough endoplastic, whatever. I'm not going to be able to say that fast. I don't remember that teacher. We had a lot of different teachers. And if they could say the lines, well, they would bring them back. There was one teacher that had some difficulty saying the lines, and we kept shooting and shooting and shooting. They had to eventually, I think, make cue cards for her because they had a freak out and they were not asked back. So if you ever notice a teacher that is always there, that one could say the lines. I don't know if it's this one. I know it happened during season 3. It's possible it's this lady. I don't remember. I know George Bell, who was our dialogue coach, would know exactly who it is. One thing I'm always looking for when we're doing Chilton scenes is my job is to make sure that those little ties stayed exactly perfect, because those things would just go all over the place. They were just all over the place, and there were like little tiny white buttons that they would have to button down. Rory's looks like crap. If you can see, sometimes if they weren't adjusted properly in the back, it would fly up, and sometimes it's really hard because you're trying to memorize a lot of lines and to go in there and kind of bug them. But also, you kind of can't see it as easily because she's got the vest on. But it is over the vest. You can see it in this shot for sure. But a lot of times it would just pop out of where it was supposed to be. I have a little bit of a scratchy throat. Sorry, friends. If you're here, I'm not looking at the chat today. I'm just recording this. We see you Monday. Okay, so Harvard is going to be expecting. They'll know they're called too late and all. Totally. By the way, I ultimately do all these things for the good of mankind, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I don't think I come off that way. No. Hello. Yes. Thanks for returning my call. Nothing. But wait. Just stick me at any pot. I'm small. You won't even know I'm there. I'll even bring my own ladle. What do I have to say about this scene? Not much. The scientific equipment is all rented. That classroom is always the same classroom. We would use the same classroom all the time. When we filmed Yale, I'm sorry, this isn't Yale, this is Chilton. Chilton was filmed on stage 18. Ooh, yep. Well, we're right by Casey's Tavern, which later becomes, in A Year in the Life, the Stars Hollow Gazette, which is so weird. Like, it is a place already. Why did they turn it into some other place? We got galleries, and then we should be going around to Le Chat Club. If you go through that door where the bushes are between Le Chat Club and the gallery, that's exactly where you go to the grill at the Warner Brothers, and they had really good chili cheese fries that you could get. Oh my God, I love the Le Chat Club. This is when Kirk gets the cats. Yeah. Yes. The Stars Hollow Autumn Festival. Do we see the Stars Hollow Autumn Festival? I feel like we don't. I'm not pausing. I'm trying not to pause anything. I call Kirk's name. Obviously, I won't be calling myself True. Although one of my mom calls for Kirk. That'll be... Maybe I can get her to say Cat Kirk when she's calling Kirk, and Human Kirk when she's calling me. So funny. I think my favorite looking set was always Le Chat Club. But then again, I have a soft spot for all of them. Sometimes the background, especially in Luke Steiner, will be people that are interesting people. Like sometimes they're the relatives of some of the people that worked on the show. Sometimes they're very special background or stand-ins or random people. So I'm always looking to see who's in a shot. Now, when we rehearse these scenes, we always have to like tell the actor, okay, when you get down your thing, please, are you going to take off your jacket? You should take off your jacket. Alexis probably should have taken off her scarf, but you know what? She's cold. She's fine. She didn't want to deal with it because trying to match that over and over would have been really hard. It's interesting that we're showing the chip products. We got Lay's and Fritos and Cheetos and Doritos and 3Ds. I think it's because we must have gotten product placement, which makes sense because we always had Cheetos and Fritos at craft service. So they probably gave us lots of product to give to the crew too. One thing I always find funny is whenever we would film the nighttime scenes in Luke, they would always have those little candle lights that were on the tabletops, but they were all physically hardwired to the actual tables. And it was just always so weird because I guess in reality, they would have just been tea lights that would have been put on the table. So it wouldn't have been that weird, but it just always felt like, why is there this electrical appliance on these tables that isn't there during the normal part of the day? Sometimes set dressing would ask us for coats to put on top of that coat rack, or we would have the actors put coats on that rack as they were coming in. If you're checking, we are at 11:28 in the time code for season 3, episode 9, a deep fried Thanksgiving if you'd like to watch along. They are just barely eating, and then they cut because that's the way they roll. Ooh, the flower shop. Oh no, this isn't flower shop. This is Dosey's. Look at, okay, so all those signs that are behind them are made by the fabulously talented Casey Castemeyer, who is our sign painter, scenic artist. He also was, I think there was another term that we called him throughout the years, art director. He also got that credit on the show as well. They're hiding behind the beauty shop, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. Is this is after the dance, right? Yes, this is right after. So they're literally hanging out right in front of Shane's work. Oh, Shane who suddenly disappears. That's kind of not so nice, right? What if she's still working there that day? Do you think she just like took off and left town when they broke up? Weird. What other random things do I see? The school that you see behind you, the Stars Hollow High. If you go inside there, it is literally just like a big open space. And that's where we had Luke's apartment was filmed inside that building. But we would get there through the fire entrance. Okay, we're inside Dosey's Market. Look at all those products. So many products. We got Q-tips and Sunkissed and Clabber Girl. We definitely used a lot of products. Some of the products are kind of obscure, but most of them you see every single label in there, and they're all real products. A lot of times when they're doing grocery stores, they will use, why is he by the first response pregnancy kit? Uh, oh, he's trying to get the first aid, that's right. A lot of times they'll use fake products and they'll make they'll make all these fake products. But on our shows, sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. I don't know. I think in later seasons, it either became more of an issue in later seasons, or we just had a different production designer who was like, nope, I don't know. A few years later, after Gilmore Girls, a lot of the studios started to come down really hard on prop departments for the products that they would show, because if we didn't have clearance, they wouldn't allow them to use it. There's Dean. Ooh, he's like, so you pulled the Thanksgiving. I get time and a half. Good, good. It's good to see you. Same here. So I gotta work. Okay. Fun fact: inside the refrigerated cases, whenever you're shooting in a grocery store, are not actually refrigerated. So in that area, they will not use real food. They'll use stuff that looks like real food, but because we can't obviously have the refrigeration going because it makes a lot of noise, so they'll shut it off. They'll put fake lights in there. They'll do all sorts of stuff. And at one point in time, I remember looking inside that case, and there was a sandwich. And that sandwich, oh my God, so funny. It had the weirdest label on it. That's all I'm going to say, because I can't remember where I have it. It is such a weird label. And then you read the label and it's like, tells you all this like weird stuff. And you're just like, this doesn't even make sense. And then people, and the label is like, are you still reading this? Because it's literally like prop jokes. Okay, we're outside. They've got the flowers. They're in front of the decorative pumpkin sign and all the signs. And, oh, that's right, because she was avoiding going inside. Now, those bags that they're holding are not actually real paper. They're made of like a special material. I want to say it's rubber. They're rubberized so that they won't make noise. That way, it doesn't sound like crinkle, crinkle. They might add a crinkle, crinkle sound afterwards, but they don't want to do it so it won't hit the lines. Oh my God, shooting inside Mrs. Kim's is so difficult on a normal day, but they cleared out everything. Okay, we're at 16:34 on the time code. But they cleared out everything so that they could we could move around, so we could have stuff. So it was always interesting. I mean, it's still cluttered, but they kind of moved stuff. Some of the stuff was moved to the front lawn, if I'm not mistaken, or at least that's the way we had it when we were filming. But we could assume that there's some kind of backyard that they probably moved stuff to, or maybe they have a different storage area that they were able to bring it to so that they could actually be in their house during this event. And obviously, oh my God, that clock doesn't even have a clock thing on it. Where did we get all of these antiques? We got them from the prop house. I don't think they bought much unless they really, really needed it. I think they just grabbed it from the prop house. Let's approve it. We won't have to hide anything except how you met and who you really is. But other than that, it's completely fib-free. Shh, shh, watch it. You break, you buy. Oh my God, that little kid. No, that's not this scene. It's not that little scene. I remember the little kid from the episode where she and Dave and Todd get married. That kid was funny. Anyways, we're not talking about that scene. Try the tofurkey. Tofurkey made from tofu. That was kind of a new thing back then. When we filmed this, that was like, what? There's Dave. Dave was always supposed to be endgame. Was always supposed to be endgame. 17, please. Yes, ma'am. He seems like a very upright man, not bad sight reader either. You're taking tofurkey. Have some extra nuggets to slip the tofurkey in when no one is looking, and then toss them away. Very smart. Maybe we could take a break from the hymns while we eat. No break. He's paid to play. Poor Dave. Now, Dave Rogalski is based on a real man named Dave Rogalski, who is married to the real life Helen Pye, who is based on Helen Kim. I'm sorry, Lane Kim is based on Helen Pye. Helen Pye was our producer on Gilmore Girls. She started out as Amy's assistant. Interesting. We're passing Mrs. Kim's house. Sometimes there's a picket fence around there, and sometimes there's not. It's weird. The picket fence things on this show, it kind of like, it's like, today we're gonna have a picket fence, tomorrow we're not gonna have a picket fence. Interesting. I loved these guys. We're now at, for those watching along, we're at 1917 in the season 3 episode 9, a deep fried Thanksgiving, Korean Thanksgiving. Melissa was so funny. This scene, it was so cold that day. It was so chilly. You can see the wind is kind of like moving behind her. It was really cold. California cold. For those of you on the East Coast or in Alaska, obviously it's not that cold, but we're outside all day long. You guys are probably inside your house with the heat on. And so yeah, it was pretty cold. Now the food, all the food you see is real food. They did not use fake food. They did not use fake flowers. Everything was really real. And sometimes it would be raining, but I don't think it was raining in this shot. But it is raining outside where I'm at right now. Hi guys, my name is Valerie. I worked on Gilmore Girls. I see a few of you here. We're watching a deep fried Korean, Jackson. Deep fried Korean Thanksgiving. Did someone say Jackson? That's where we're at right now. So 2033, somewhere around there. They're laughing. They're about to put the turkey in there. Is that a real deep fryer? No, there's no oil in there. It is all rigged by the special effects department to make it look like there's some. Otherwise, there would be a lot more boiling. No one would be that close to it. So it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. Now, this is not a real street. We are literally at the Warner Brothers backlot. And the cars you see parked on the street, that is just some random background person that was able to bring their car in. Anytime you see a car moving in the background, those are random background. There we go. We're at Luke Steiner now. Hey, doll face, happy Thanksgiving. They give him the flowers. We're now in Luke Steiner. Put them in a vase. Oh, I know. That's the worst. You get flowers when you're having a party. You're like, oh, God, thank you. I know we're having a party in a couple days. So I'm going to put some vases outside. So like, hey, you brought flowers? Here's a vase. Put them in this. It's like, it's lovely to get flowers, but like, in the middle of a party. So much effort, but they are nice. They are pretty. Oh, little cat Kirk's. Human Kirk's bandages all over his face. Cat Kirk again. Oh, sorry. I'm so mad. Very uncool cat. I love cats, but I love Kirk too. It's pretty much 50-50, and that's a high compliment. I love that bed. Tension of our standoff was unbearable, so I got on the floor and tried to play with him. It's a him. I caught a peek. I rolled this little ball of yarn all over gently, and he tried to garrote me. Oh my God, not cool. Just grabbed two ends with his paws, and he came at me. He doesn't have opposable thumbs. He's beyond them. He's smart. He knows things, sometimes before they even get a hold of yourself. You haven't tried the worst. When the attacks got particularly bad, I had no choice but to strip naked and hide underwater in the bathtub. I read that cats are afraid of water. They are! Kirk isn't. He seemed to derive greater power from the water. That's when the bulk of the Kirk space now. Just relax and enjoy your food. So behind you see like the paint cans and all the like hardware stuff. Stuff is just always there. Like it's not Luke Steiner unless you have hardware stuff all over the place, right? There's Robert Lee, our fake Caesar. Sorry, I got like post-nasal drip, so apologize for the coughing here. I'm going to have some hot tea. Oh, Renee. Okay. Maury, basically, if you notice, he's got his sunglasses on. He was always told to wear his sunglasses. At least when I was there. We always made him wear his sunglasses. There are probably a few scenes here and there where he doesn't have them on. But in reality, they always wanted to have him have his stuff on. And I think at some point in time, they're like, no, you got to have his glasses on all the time. Now, if you look behind right now, you see the food sign. And behind it, there's a little tiny W across the street. That's the school, whatever, bay door. It used to be the fire station. It changed. It went from the fire station to part of the school, which is always kind of funny if you look at earlier episodes. But if you walk through that big bay door, that is how you get into Luke's apartment if you're on the back lot. And then there's Miss Patty's. For those people going to Holidays Made Here, they are rebuilding Miss Patty's. They are rebuilding Miss Patty's, which is so exciting. It is so exciting. And I'm going to be bringing Liz with me to Holidays Made Here. And she gets to be in there. She's so excited to see it. We're going to go like a day before the event opens. It's going to be really exciting. The whole town is watching. Okay. We are now at the Gilmore Mansion. We're on stage 12. Girls are entering. They are ringing the bell. We are at 25-26, give or take. I do plan on okay, the night will be over and I won't have to see them again. Okay, so everything is flat. If you look at earlier seasons and you see the exterior of the Gilmore Mansion, there's stairs. Those stairs exist because that's at a real location, but this is on stage, so everything is flat. And we'd always have to get the girls' coats to wear outside so that they could hand them off to the maid or butler, apparently. And that's Brad. Now, Brad on Gilmore Girls was our piano player later. I don't know if he was playing piano already at this point, but that joke is an inside joke to Brad, who was our piano player on Gilmore Girls. Oh, it's the French guy. Oh, and now anytime we have a fire in the fireplace, it's all gas. It's not very well vented to the ceiling. Anytime we have candles, we have to have a fire marshal on set as well. But our special effects department will light the fireplaces, and then the smoke just goes up into the rafters, and we're just like on stage. They will like air out the stage a little bit between takes, but whenever they can cut, they'll cut. And yeah. Obviously, the living room for the Gilmore Mansion, the entire Gilmore Mansion has changed a lot over the years. From the very first pilot episode, first season to second season. Second season and beyond, it pretty much stabilizes a little bit. There might be like an additional set that's added, but the most of the major changes happened during second season. It's so weird to see Ed without his mustache, though. I remember when he got the mustache and we were like, okay, I'm not used to seeing this mustache on your face. It's also weird seeing other people in the mansion. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we have a few people. We had a lot to take care of. I took care of everybody but Lauren in that scene. So in between each take, I'm going up and fixing this and fixing that. I actually like that when there's a lot of people to take care of. It keeps me a little bit more awake. When there's only one person to look at, you're like, oh my God. And they're perfect. And it takes forever for you to like, you just have to fight to stay awake because it takes hours and hours and hours and hours to shoot these scenes because every single angle has to be lit. And then they go in for close-ups like they just did. And then they have other angles, and then we move on to other scenes, because usually there's multiple scenes, especially the dining room scenes took forever. Okay, so we're in one shot for this dining room scene. We've got 2 fireplaces going. There's the second shot on Emily. Is there thunder outside? We're having some weather out here in California. We have 2 maids, which was impressive because we didn't have 2 maid uniforms until we had to have 2 maid uniforms. I've talked about this in some of my TikToks. We have another angle there, another angle. There's so many angles. Every one of these angles, every POV, like you'd have to shoot them from this person's POV, and then you'd have to shoot them from Lorelai's POV. And so this one's from Lorelai's POV. And so every time someone's talking, you have to get a different angle on those people from the people that are talking to those people. So it's a lot of work, so much work. Oh, now we turn around on this. So much work. This is post-traumatic. It's a little, not post-traumatic, but you know what I mean. I just think about how long it took to film this. And then if one of the actors didn't get their lines right, going back to the top, especially in the master. We had to have a perfect master. And then they would have to have perfect takes from the beginning to the end so that the editor could cut them together. And then you see all the little tiny things like necklaces that are stuck. Lauren's necklace is like kind of stuck in a weird place where it's not perfect. But you can't do anything about it because like that's how she's sitting, and it is what happens. She's moving a little bit. I hated necklaces that had things. The more delicate a necklace was, the better, because then it would just stay in the right spot. But necklaces were hard. Wait, did we just see Ed's wire? No. Did they see? Did it poke over? I'm not going to pause it. We're not pausing. We're not pausing. Oh, yeah, I think you can kind of see his wire over the top of his bow tie. Yeah, I think. Or no, you know what? That's just the line of the bow tie. Never mind. God. But they would wire his bow tie. So they would stick the wire through his shirt, not through the top of the collar, and through the bow tie. Okay, let's see. Guys, make sure to hit that thumbs up if you are here and you're enjoying what I'm making. Hit that thumbs up. I don't know how to do it, but just do it. And now her necklace has fixed herself. Those candles behind, always look at the candles, because each take we are doing, the candles are going to get lower and lower. So you can kind of tell which takes. They actually try to, they always have to replace the candles out throughout the day, because those are real candles on set. Let's see. Yeah, mimicking. Make sure to leave me a comment if you want to hear more of this. If you enjoy this content, please leave me a comment. Encourage me to do more of these. She's now outside. It's freezing out here. There's Jamaica compared to in there. It's just an alternative to Harvard, a backup. It changes nothing. No, no. So all of those doors, all of those French doors that you see from the patio, they were all built in there for the when we moved to this stage. So when they rebuilt the Gilmore Mansion, they built them so that all we had to do was open those doors all the way open so we could film and not have to move a wall out of the way. And it made it so much easier to have those doors. Before, it was impossible to shoot in the Gilmore Mansion. Sadly, the Kim's Antiques was filmed on the back lot, and that was a very difficult set to film into because, one, we are not on stage, so anytime a plane flew over, we'd have to wait for the plane, and all that furniture took forever to move that furniture out of the way. He's got his tofurkey and a little something for your tie. I'm clearing. I'm going to start the kitchen. Okay, well, Mama, look. Dave's Bible. He forgot it. Oh, my God. Whatever shall we do? Wait. We're going to miss him. Let me see that. Sure, it's just a Bible. This Bible belongs to God, but is being used by Dave Rogowski. Go on. I love Emily. Emily Kuroda, that is. Oh my God, I remember this day, this night. It was cold. Poor Keiko. I would have to like put her coat on her. Adam was fine because he had a coat. But Keiko, I had to keep like covering her with a coat every time because it was like freezing outside. He's I've gotten 3 other calls for playing gigs. I should be paying you a commission. And that's not necessary. And check it out. It's $20. Wow. She liked you. We'll put it to our first real date. Really? After all this? The marathon hymns, the crabby Koreans. And you still want to go on a date with me? Oh, the kiss. Very sweet. Bible kiss, Bible. Bible kiss, Bible. Okay. I've got to go. But I'm going to call you tomorrow. Okay, so now the picket fence is back. It's weird. It's like the picket fence is there, but then it's not there. It's like they removed it to make it not look like the picket fence was there. But then, like, I don't know. We did some weird stuff, you know. There is no continuity in Gilmore Girls. Just a lot of inconsistencies. A lot of inconsistencies. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. You're going to come out on the other side. And even more amazing, you. But I just wish my head could sit down and have the gnawing feeling in my gut. My parents get involved in anything, and I'll be okay. It's going to be okay. Nice try. Okay. Let's see. So, for those of you that don't know, the Twickham house, which is behind them, is the same as Babette's house and it doesn't exist anymore, but yeah, and the front side of Suki's house is the back side of Lorelai's house. Oh, hi there. This tastes good. This is gonna deep fry and everything. Vegetable, butter, pickles, salt. Oh, now good. She was so funny in this moment. Well, you got me ladies at a good time. I've already gone through the 5 stages of grief. Denial, anger. I don't remember these 2. But they were served with on the rocks. No, happily ensconced in acceptance. Ensconced. That's it. I do believe I heard Phil suggesting throwing Junior in. Junior, his nephew. Wow, I chimed in on that one. What happened over there? Yeah, they set the lawn on fire, but it's okay. Says it's okay, because it'll go back twice as much. That's what he said when he broke my salad bowl that I brought from Belgium. That whole scene, it was so funny filming with those guys. Despite the fact that it was freezing, I was laughing the whole night. Like, just laughing all night long. But we can't laugh because we're on set. Because we can't laugh, but you have to laugh inside. Which is why whenever I watch stuff, I'm always like, You're like, you want to laugh, but you can't. So you have to kind of hold it inside whenever that deep fried show. Okay, we're at Luke's diner. They're walking outside. I need more. You may run around town for a place to dump this. Just dump it in one of Taylor's bins. It gets it out of there and drive him crazy. Guys, we're out of food. Oh, please. We're not eating for a year. Or till tomorrow, whichever comes first. Oh, hi, St. Nick. Tell him he needs to get more trash cans. You got any coffee? And there's that scale. I always love that scale that's outside of Luke's. The Walmart commercial did not have the scale. Ooh. A little kiss. Was this episode? Oh, To's Old Fashioned is there at this point. Okay. That's so weird. The soda shop is this season. We're in season 3, right? Season 3, episode 9. Oh, okay. The soda shop's there already at that point. Okay. Just inviting me to camping. Oh, this is when, do they have like a little fight or something? Because I remember I have a picture of Milo with a black eye when he's standing next to one of our stand-ins, who also has a black eye. Because he had to like put a black eye on for this scene. This is for that scene. Oh, behind we see Nancy's cottage, whatever, that store. Nancy was our set designer, right? I think that's her technical term. She was the one that would draw all the like sets to scale like an architect would. And so a lot of times they would throw the names of different people on the crew into locations, sets, especially if it was a set that didn't exist as a different set yet. So later they would transform it to something else, but at that point in time, it was still whatever it needed to be. Oh, wait, what do they get into a black eye later? Oh no, the black eye was for the swan. That's right. That's right. My parents because they're upset. We had really 3 dinners, not 4, which means that we didn't have to skip rolls. Oh yeah, do you have any rolls left? Come on. Just a little something for the walk home. I don't see how you do it. You're not us, are you? Good night. Okay. Well, they're walking by. This has been a nice Thanksgiving. Very nicer for some than others. Okay, so all the pumpkins in the town square are real. All the pumpkins are real. Aw, poor Kirk. Can't even sleep in his... We're going to watch the credits. We got Amy Sherman Palladino, Helen Pye, John Stevens, Justin Tanner, Michael Price, Lauren Carrasco, Jill Savitt, Sam Phillips, Carol King, Louise Goffin, Tony Stern, Janice Judd, Carla McCloskey. Blah, blah, blah. I cannot read them this fast. Okay, there's a lot of people that deserve my attention. You're going to have to stop and read every single person's name. Brenda Maben. But it went too fast. You know what? We can rewind it. We can rewind on the credits. That's what we're going to do. We're going to rewind on the credits. So I can give these people the proper amount of time. So we rewound on the credits. We got Helen Putt, Kira Morissette. I don't remember her. I'm assuming writer, maybe? I'm not sure what associate. Kiara must be in like writer, somebody. I don't know. Not sure. John Stevens, he was one of the writers. Justin Tanner was one of the writers. I think they're all writers. Michael Price was our DP. Lauren Carrasco was our production designer. We had multiple production designers on the show. So Jill Savitt was one of our editors. There was another guy named Raul who was one of our editors as well. They would alternate. We had Sam Phillips, Carol King, Louise Goffin, Carol King, Tony Stern, Greg Wells, and Carol King are responsible for the song. Where you lead. We had Dennis Judd, Carla McCloskey, Carissa F. Kane. Carissa. I love Carissa. I mean, she's great. She lives in Japan now. Barbara Miller, casting. Jamie Rudofsky, executive. Okay, I never met Barbara Miller. But Jamie Rudofsky and Mara Casey, I know. Okay, these are all the people that were in this episode. Jason Lasseter. Matt L. Jones, who starred as Morgan. He's in the documentary. Fun fact, he's in the documentary. And you're like, who's that? Well, that's the guy that's in the documentary. He's one of the cousins. And I think the reason he's in the documentary is the people that are doing the documentary knew him from something. We're like, hey, we'd love to interview you. And then sort of one person led to another, who led to another, and eventually they got other people on board. We have Shaheen Vaz as Miss Cunningham. Let's see who's next. We have Sean Everett as Jackson's family number 1. Danny Boudet as Jackson family number 2. Kristen Carasso as Jackson family number 3. I didn't even realize there was a girl in there. Lynn Garbutt, Jackson family 4. Monty Bain, Jackson 5. John Jabley, Jackson family number 6. D. Marcus Jackson family number 7. We had a lot of extra people in this. Peter Kim, Korean relative number 1. Satya Lee, Korean relative number 2. Janet Song, Korean relative number 3. Kim, Korean relative number 4. Alexis Ray, Korean relative number 5. Greg Jung Pak, Korean relative number 6. Jae-woo Lee, Korean relative number 7. Sunny Bonner, Korean relative number 8. John D. Kim, Korean relative number 9. April Moon, young Korean relative. Okay, this is the most important part. Costumes! We have our costume designer, Robin Lewis West. Now, Robin was our costume designer starting, I want to say, episode 18 or 19 of season 1. And then she finished all the way to season 3. And then she later went on to go work on Chuck and Bones. And I don't know that she's working anymore. A lot of people aren't working, including me. But yeah. Then Brenda Mabin, who was our costume supervisor during this episode, she later became our costume designer. She still works as a costume supervisor. She is crazy that she continues to work when she can enjoy the rest of her life and not have to, but no, she just enjoys it. She loves it. Set decorator, she works all over. She works in Chicago, Atlanta, wherever. Set decorator, William Gregory. I don't remember this guy, partially because I didn't interact as much with set decorators as being on set. I would interact maybe with the on-set dresser, who is the person that was managing like all of the things that you see on set. Next thing, we have Paula Schreiber, who was our prop master. She did a majority of Gilmore Girls. She didn't do like some of the later seasons because she had gotten sick and random stuff happens. We have our makeup artist, Marie Del Prete. Marie won the Emmy for makeup for the episode that will happen in the next season, Festival of the Living Arts. We have hairstylist Patricia Vecchio. I guess she does the first 3 seasons of the show, and then she won't be there the 4th season. It's another group of people. The hair department and makeup department fluctuates a lot. If you watch the end credits, you're going to see names kind of come in and then they leave. And it's not just Marie and Patricia. There's a whole crew. There's a bunch of different people that work there. There's like at least 2, if not 3 people that would be there working pretty consistently. And then every once in a while, they'd have more people that would come on when there was special scenes. Like this scene, we'd have a lot of extra people working for the scenes where we have a lot of extra principals and sometimes background. Next slide, we got Dan Church, who's our sound mixer. Dan is always going to be featured on this thing. And then we have post-production coordinator Kim Furtman. I remember her. She worked in post. Basically, it's the one that like she would come to set and she'd be like, Lauren, we need you to do ADR. And so then Lauren would have to go do ADR. Whoever, they would always have the ADR. And then we have our script supervisor, Sunny Filippini. She did not work that many episodes. I want to say maybe 9. Script supervisor was a hard job. First 2 seasons, we had one script supervisor. Her name was Cheryl Starbuck. And then after that, we had one after another. And then eventually there were like 3 that worked a lot, like worked at least a season. And those were Petra Jorgensen, Diana Valentine, and then there was one, oh my God, what's her name? Oh, she's older. She's really sweet. Really super sweet. I cannot remember her name right now. I can picture her. I know exactly what she looks like. She's like this little old lady. And I think she's still kicking. She doesn't live that far from me. Every once in a while I run into her. And that's the last. Now the next slide, I don't know any of these people. It says re-recording mixers. This is all post-production. Alan L. Stone, Joe Citarella, music editor Adrian Van Velsen, casting sound editor Kate Lebage. I don't know. Lebeg. I don't know how to say that name. And that's it. That's the credits. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to reveal the chat. I don't know if anybody's written anything, but if they have, I'll be able to see what anyone has written. And we're going to see. Oh, happy Christmas for the UK. Hello, coffee. Hello, Emily. Emily was great. So, you guys, thank you so much for being here. If you are still here, say something in the chat. Just know, for you, for me, if you can do me a huge favor. Oh my God, there is like real weather outside California. We don't usually get huge weather like this, but we are having a rainstorm with a little bit of thunder. So if you are out there, be safe. And thank you all for being here tonight. I'm going to let this go for another 10 minutes while so I can at least have one full hour. I'm going to kind of scroll back, see if there's anything else that I wanted to tell you about this episode. My favorite thing was like Jackson, when they'd be like, Jackson, Jackson. And we would always kind of make fun of not make fun of him, but like anytime we'd see Jackson, we'd be like, Jackson, Jackson. And we kind of chant that like after we filmed this episode, we'd always kind of like say that to him. And then, deep fried chew. I loved that moment. Let's see. I am wondering, I'm over back to where the teacher is speaking. I am wondering if this is the teacher that was having difficulty with the lines. I'm not 100% sure, because like what she had to say was a lot. Like this was not an easy thing for her to say. So it is 100% possible that that is probably the one that was like, that's it, I'm out. I am never doing this again. Can I please just go home? Like there really was an actress that was like deer in the headlights, and we're like, no, you have to keep shooting. And they got through it, but they're like, I guess we won't do that again. What other fun facts can I share with you? We're going to scroll back. Let's see. We're in Dosey's. Dosey's Market. So we're in Dosey's Market. I'm at, I'm right as Lauren is in there. So like 13:22 is where we're at the time code wise. All the fruit and vegetables that is in that store, that is all real. Some of the products might be fake boxes, but I remember, this is the fun fact that you might not know. A lot of these products were real. And whenever we needed something, Lauren makes a joke, but she's not joking. We would go in there and we'd be like, yeah, we need this. I remember one time we needed to like dirty up Caesar's apron or something. And Brenda's like, well, we need to get something. And I'll be like, okay, I'll go over to Dosey's. And I'd grab like cooking oil or jam and open up the thing. We'd go to craft service too, but like Dosey's was right there. We'd go in there and steal stuff and put it in under our shirts. It was really funny. It's not like there was like a security guard or anything. We'd go grab something, but like, oh, we needed this to make this actor look a little different. But it was such a good times. You worked on Gilmore Girls if you stole something from Dosey's Market. That is definitely something that you can say, oh, yes. I don't know that we necessarily stole medication. Like, I don't know if some of that stuff might be fake. Like, I bet that the medication and stuff probably did not have anything in there. I can't imagine them having actual medication in those boxes. Some of the boxes were empty, but some were not. Some were real. Okay, let's scroll to... We're inside the Mrs. Kim's at 1742. So like all the food, like I talked about the food before. Our food stylist, her name was April Falzone. She was the one responsible for making all this food to be real. And you can see it's kind of fun. Like you look at the background, like right now, Lauren and Alexis are like dishing out their plates. And the person is like grabbing food and they're putting it in their mouth. And they're like, it does not make it into their mouth. And it's not that they couldn't have eaten it. It's that if they do commit to eating it, they're going to have to eat a lot. And I mean a lot. Because we're going to be doing this take for hours and they're going to be committed to eating at that same rate. So that's why they don't take the food into their mouths. And the other reason why is because then they don't have to put more on their plate. And continuity, it makes it easier for continuity that you don't have to worry about that. And also it's like, it's a split second. You barely see. But if you look, every once in a while, you'll see someone sort of put something in their mouth. Okay, we're now outside again. But yeah, the picket fence that is supposed to be, and oh, wait, we're going to back it up. We're okay, so we're passing, we see the gazebo in the background. I think there was a period of time where they didn't want to establish Suki's house being directly next door to Mrs. Kim's. In reality, it is directly next door to Mrs. Kim's. I think they wanted to try to like establish it as being in some other place. But clearly it is right next door to Mrs. Kim's. And as the girls walk by Suki's house, you will clearly see that there is no garage there. It's just a really tall fence, because if you go through that fence, you're in Lorelei's backyard. But later that there is a garage that's there because they build a garage for Lorelei's house. So then they end up having to build the garage on the other side because they can't build one garage, they have to build two. So it's a double-sided garage that ends up getting put in between the two. And it's always really funny how they did that. But before then, they would just put a lot of bushes up to block whatever they needed to block. And I've talked about this before, but right above Suki's living room area, if you go upstairs, that's where we filmed Lorelei's bedroom. Is right above that area. Yeah. Let's see. What other fun facts? Oh, they would take, okay, so behind them, the girls are sitting, the girls are sitting down 1920 on the time code. And there is like bottles of beer and stuff that's on the, so they would take fake beer. Sometimes they put real beer, but they wouldn't be, I don't know, they're necessarily, but they would take fake beer and then they would put like the labels on the fake beer to make it look like it was real beer. That's a fun fact you probably didn't know. Also, I don't know if this, I say all the food is real, but the food that is in this cornucopia I think it's fake. I think it's supposed to be made to look like it's I don't know that it's supposed to be a real food. I think it's made to look like it's supposed to be some decorative piece that's on the table. That food is not real. Okay, we're going to just fast forward it to the Gilmore Mansion. We'll talk about the Gilmore Mansion one more time. We are at 28:33 on the time code. So much food. The flowers, all the flowers in the Gilmore Mansion were always real. And if you go inside the doors that are behind where Ed sits, then you'll end up in the butler pantry. It's not really a full functioning kitchen. It's a weird little kitchen because like there's no real stove in there, which I always thought was funny. It was really meant to just kind of present food and serve food versus it being like an actual place where there is somewhere in the Gilmore Mansion is an actual place where they are supposed to be, but we never see it. We never see the real kitchen in the Gilmore Mansion. We only see that fake butler pantry area. But the food stylists, that's where they hang out. They hang out in the little butler pantry area. And sometimes they would get kicked out because the monitors for Video Village would be in that little butler's pantry. And then they would get kicked out to a table to another area. It was always interesting how they would move people around. But yeah, those doors that the maids go through. No ceremony. Salad's great. I'm surprised you can eat at this point. There's still room. Okay. She's like Jerry Lewis. You guys know who Jerry Lewis is, right? Old-time comedian from the 1960s. He was Jerry Lewis, who he mentions in this, was the equivalent of Jim Carrey. Very much a physical comedian. So he did a lot of stuff with, just physical, zany comedy. Got it right. Okay. Well, friends, we've hit that 1 hour mark. Thank you so much for being here. If you made it this far, please make sure to drop a heart in the chat, along with your favorite moment from this episode. What's your favorite moment, favorite line from this episode? Let me know if you actually watched along or if you just listened to me as I said everything. Any feedback you got, I'll take. This is all a rather new process for me to record like this. And we've just picked a couple random episodes. I'm going to try to pick a random episode until I get to 4,000 watch hours. And then maybe we'll do something a little bit more planned. Something a little bit more interesting. Because it's very hard. Social media is very hard for me. I'm scattered between TikTok, where I'm really creating my content, to uploading stuff over on Facebook, to kind of uploading random photos to Instagram, because that's the only way that you get paid on Instagram, is putting photos out there, to now, having YouTube that might end up becoming another revenue of being able to do this more consistently. If I get work, I'm not going to be able to do all this all the time. So the more I can monetize, the better, because then it'll make it worth it when I have time to do it. Anyways, we'll see you guys later. Bye. Thank you so much. Bye, bye, bye.